Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the peak-to-peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists.
Welcome back to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. I'm Barbara Hardt.
And I'm Doug Armitage. Thanks for joining us.
This episode is brought to you by Brightwood Music, Hardt's Backhoe, Tadasana Mountain Yoga, Mountain Girl Pickles, Willoughby Honey, and of course, the Mountaineer newspaper. And now to the news desk.
This week's movie at the Backdoor Theater is Uncharted, rated PG-13. The movie shows Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m., with a Saturday matinee at 2 p.m.
This week's edition of The Mountaineer includes several Keep It Local features. Keep It Local is our campaign to help businesses share their information and story across the peak-to-peak region. Keep It Local is funded through the town of Nederland and through the Gilpin County Commissioners with funding from the American Rescue Plan Act. During 2022, you'll see 208 stories between Nederland and Gilpin County. Do you want to have your business featured? Check out www.themountaineer.com and click on Submit My Business Feature to be considered for an upcoming story.
Frozen Dead Guy Days is coming up March 18th to 20th. Frostafarian friends, we've missed you so, and we're hoping you'll join us on a voyage to the new Frozen Dead Guy Day Festival Frontier. This year's event will feature dozens of fun and exciting things to do, like snowy human foosball, coffin races, frozen t-shirt contest, and the Call Me Ned musical performance with Patrice LeBlanc. Tents open at 11 o'clock for your favorite frozen dead drinks. We've got live music with lots of our friends, and much more. Be sure to check in and check out their website for event information at frozendeadguydays.com.
And for our first story, we talked to Patrice LeBlanc about her musical comedy, Call Me Ned. Take it away, Jamie.
Hello, my name is Jamie Lammers, and this is my interview with Patrice LeBlanc, writer of the musical comedy based on the Frozen Dead Guy Days festival, Call Me Ned.
My name is Patrice LeBlanc.
I hear that you're doing a show this year for Frozen Dead Guy Days.
Yes, very excited to tell you about our show, Call Me Ned. And this is a musical comedy that we wrote for Frozen Dead Guy Days, the festival. The first time we did this show was in 2019, so it premiered at the festival. In 2020, the day that we were doing our tech rehearsal, the week of the show for Frozen Dead Guy Days, it got canceled, the festival got canceled, our rehearsal got canceled, and that was the start of the pandemic. So we are very thrilled to be doing it again this year because the Frozen Dead Guy Days did not have a festival in 2021, but they are back doing the festival on March 19th in 2022.
Can you give us a little synopsis of the show, perhaps?
Certainly. So the synopsis for the show is that Grandpa Fredo, the Frozen Dead guy, somebody forgets to put a lock on the tough shed where he's at, and he melts and comes back to life during the festival. So he comes down to the festival, but everybody's dressed up as the Frozen Dead guy, so nobody believes him that he's the real Grandpa Fredo. And what happens is they discover the lock's off the door and he's gone, so they think somebody stole him. So they go and try to find him, and they're running all over the place trying to see if they can locate him, and he keeps telling everybody, I'm right here, sure. So the way that he decides to solve the dilemma is he figures just to keep the legend going, he's better off being dead. So he puts the lock back on the door so everybody thinks that he's back in the sarcophagus, the coffin. It's got about 6 songs in it. We've got a cast of 9 people. It takes a lot of audience participation, which is why the show is so fun, because there are certain lines in the show that the audience gets to chime in and respond to. One is every time they say grandpa, everybody says grandpa who, and they say grandpa Prito. When they mention the word tough shed, you hear this musical chime chord and everybody sings tough shed. So that becomes more hilarious as the show goes along, because then the audience gets really cued in on when their cue is coming up to participate.
What was creating the show like? How did you come up with the concept? How long did writing take? All that sort of stuff.
So it was in 2018, not that long after we moved into Central City and we found out about the Frozen Dead Guy Festival. Somebody mentioned to us, you know, it'd be great if there was a musical about Frozen Dead Guys. And my husband, Ed Schoenrod, and myself have been writing musicals for a long time and collaborating. So we thought that was a great idea. This was around December 2018, and we literally came up with the concept and wrote the musical in 5 days. It was a big period of 5 days of, writing songs. I write the dialogue. My husband writes the lyrics. I create the music. We kind of storyboard it together and come up with our concept and our plot line. After we wrote it, we were so excited about it that we kind of rushed it and wanted to put it on for that March festival. So we posted auditions. However, nobody really was interested or even knew about auditions at the time we were trying to do it. So we just started asking people, hey, would you like to be involved in the show? And so there were some people that said, I've never done theater, but yeah, I'd love to be involved. And we did the show actually in 2020 in Central City at the Teller House Gardens over the summer. During the pandemic, we got to do outdoor performances. So because we didn't get to do it in March, we brought it back by popular demand because people really wanted to see the show. And this year when I reached the cast and said, hey, would you be interested in doing it for 2022? Almost everybody said, yes, definitely. They would love to get back involved with the show. So our cast loves doing it. The audience, some of them have seen it a few times, and they keep coming back to see the show again.
And what are you most excited about for people who are going to be able to see this show on Frozen Dead Guy Days?
I think it's very comical, so you'll definitely have a good time. The songs are really upbeat, and they've been called toe-tapping songs. The opening song, The Legend of Grandpa Burrito, people say they can't get that out of their heads. So I think the musical in itself is a lot of fun for people to see. And just to be able to get back together and do community theater again is really exciting because we didn't get to do a lot of it during the pandemic. Just a couple of tidbit things. After we did the musical the first time and we actually put it on YouTube, this is through our production company is L&M Productions. The name of our theater troupe is called the Belvedere Players. Somebody in Australia read about our musical, Call Me Ned, and so they run a podcast/radio show in Australia, and they were going to do a feature on Grandpa Burrito. So they asked us if we would do our opening song and record it, and could they use that. So we actually brought our cast into a recording studio and recorded the song, and it played on Australian radio. So that was kind of a neat thing. I hear people from all over the world know about Frozen Dead Guy Days, and we're hoping to get the musical out there as well.
And you've written musicals before, right?
Yes, my whole master's degree, I've got an MA in musical theater, and my capstone was actually to write a one-act musical. So my study when I was studying for my master's was all about playwriting, song composition, and basically trained me how to write musicals. When I met my husband, he writes poems, and he wrote a poem to me. And 15 minutes later, I sent it back to him, texted it back, and I had a song melody for it. And so we decided we were actually a pretty good songwriting team. We've done several musicals together. Our biggest one is probably what we did last summer. We workshopped our full-length musical Prohibition. It had 20 songs and about 17 or 18 cast. We used people primarily in the Peak-to-Peak region. We had some people from Netherlands, Gilpin, and Central City, and some people even from the Denver area. Some of the other works that we've done is we did a LeBlanc skit last summer for LeBlanc Days in Central City, and we wrote a Tommyknocker holiday skit that we did this Christmas. So we do like to take community events. We wrote a social distance melodrama about history of Central City during the pandemic in 2020 and performed it outside. So what I was saying was we love to take historical events, reenact them, and take really some good folklore from the area and reintroduce that. We feel like we are creating a great theater troupe up here, the Belvedere Players. Pretty much if you want to get involved, you're involved, and we just kind of pick who we need for the shows that we write. Don't really do auditions. We just kind of write with sometimes some people in mind or try to fill the shoes of the script with the players that we have. So I think it's a great community organization that we have going here, and we find that people actually really enjoy getting involved.
And what's your favorite part about being able to get all of these people involved in such incredible community events?
You know, I love theater. Part of the reason that I came to Central City was to really focus on creating, because sometimes I get way too busy to create. This allows a great vehicle for that. But just being involved with theater, it is really so much fun. We laugh our way through the rehearsals. Everybody loves the performances. They're not big professional, perfect performances. They are community theater. And just to be able to do that art form in the Peak to Peak region, we feel like we're very fortunate, and we're so thankful to the people that do our shows.
And yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else?
I think that'll do it. I just wanted to tell you when our shows are. And,
right.
We are doing actually 2 shows. We are doing a premiere show on March 18th at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Elk Club on 113 Main Street in Central City. We have a lot of Central City actors, and so that is kind of what we do for people in that particular region to come and see the show. The big show we will have on March 19th is going to be at 11 o'clock a.m. at the Backdoor Theater in the Community Center, and this is part of the Frozen Dead Guy Festival. So before the parade that starts at noon, come on to the Backdoor Theater and come see the show and participate. There is no tickets to get in the door. We do take donations, and we ask for you to support our efforts so that we could keep continuing to do the show. So cash donation is taken out the door. It's about a 45-minute show. You can find out more information at www.facebook. We're the Belvedere Players. Phone number for more information, 303-421-2243.
Well, and I think those are all the big questions I have on my end.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity, Jamie, to be able to give this information out to the community.
Yeah, and thank you so much for coming on board. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you so much, Patrice, for coming on board and joining us for the podcast. Call Me Ned will be performed twice this year. Once as a premiere performance in the Elks Lodge in Central City, 113 Main Street on March 18th, 2022 at 7 p.m., and once as a showing for the Frozen Dead Guy Days Festival on March 19th, 2022 at the Backdoor Theater in the Community Center in Nederland, 750 Highway 72 North.
Thanks, Jamie. Frozen Dead is better than no dead at all.
And back to the news desk. Visit Brightwood Music in Nederland for a wide array of accessories and instruments unlike any others in the region. Brightwood has a variety of strings, including locally made Kurt Magnan strings from Cortez, Colorado. They also offer on-site repairs and can restring your 6-string acoustic for $10 plus the cost of strings. They offer lessons for all ages and abilities. Brightwood Music is family-owned and operated and has been a Nederland staple for your string needs for over a decade. They are located at 20 East Lakeview Drive, Unit 109 in Nederland, and can be reached at 303-258-8863.
Peak-to-peak musicians and artists, the Mountaineer is looking for you. We're looking for our April and May featured musicians. Would you like a feature story in the Mountaineer print, online, and podcast edition? We cover all types of news in the Peak to Peak, including business, author, and artist profiles. Right now, these are all completed through email, phone calls, and occasional in-person private interviews with our journalists. Interested? Email publisher1977@gmail.com to get on the list for upcoming editions.
Did you know the Mountaineer has a free 100-day trial to the online and print edition? You can check it out on the website at www.themountaineer.com and click on subscribe. You can also pick up the latest edition on Stands, which has a free coupon inside it, or you can email publisher1977@gmail.com to sign up.
Hey, and don't forget our April Fool's edition is coming out. One of the best for us to produce, with feature stories that might be serious and might be entertaining for everyone. Send a copy to your friends out of state.
For our next story, here is Jamie Lammers talking to Bella Lynch and Towns Baki, Ski Meister champions.
Hello, my name is Jamie Lammers, and these next two interviews are with the Netherlands champions of the 2022 Colorado Ski Meister Championships, held on Tuesday, March 1st, 2022 at Howelson Hill. First, I will be interviewing Bella Lynch, who earned third place in the women's division for her efforts in alpine and Nordic skiing.
My name is Bella Lynch. I'm a senior at Boulder High, and I compete with the Netherlands High School Nordic ski team as well as the Netherlands High School Alpine ski team, and I compete in the Ski Meister competition.
How did you qualify for the Ski Meister?
Well, I mean, I guess it's not really something you qualify for necessarily. I've been doing it for 4 years, and how it works is at the beginning of season, if you do Nordic and Alpine, you just register as a Ski Meister, and over the course of both the Nordic season and the Alpine season, they take your results from both Nordic races and Alpine races. Then last year, due to COVID, they weren't doing during the whole season, and they decided just to have like a championship, if you want to call it that, at the end of the year, in which you compete in 4 disciplines in one day, and they just decided to keep it for this season as well as having the results from the whole season. So you had all of the races throughout the season, state championships for Nordic and Alpine separate, and then the Ski Meister thing was kind of its own separate little thing.
How do you think Ski Meister went in general?
I think it went awesome. I do think that I would like to see more kids from Netherlands doing Ski Meister, or just from the Boulder County area, and we definitely need more representation. But overall, I think it went awesome. There was about 20 girls, 20 boys. We started the day with a 3K Classic, and then we had 2 Alpine runs, GS, 2 Alpine runs slalom, and then a 3K skate race. And yeah, I think it was awesome. It was great competition. It was a lot of fun. It was definitely a hard day, but it was cool to see some really strong, really capable athletes there.
And what stands out to you about alpine and Nordic skiing as sports in general? What are some highlights for you about competing in those sports?
Well, I mean, I guess I kind of get something different from both of them, but Nordic for me is just a lot about endurance and how hard you can push yourself. The Netherlands Nordic team is awesome. The kids are amazing, and it's a good community, and I love my coaches. But yeah, on top of that, the good kind of pain that you get out of Nordic is incredibly rewarding. And I guess Alpine is kind of something I've struggled with a little bit more, but it's honestly just really fun, and it's an adrenaline rush, and it's addictive and very technical. And so you can go up and do run after run after run and still have something to work on. And that's definitely a cool thing about the sport. And I do think that in a lot of ways, it's really not like any other sport because it's such a short amount of time that you're in skates. And I do think that the Netherlands High School ski team, it's amazing. It brings in kids from all over Boulder, a bunch of different schools and a bunch of different ability levels and ages, and it's just fun to be a part of both of those teams. So,
what was your favorite part about this year's Ski Meister? What were some highlights there?
I don't know. I think for me personally, I really pushed myself this season and did everything I possibly could, and I really saw the results of that in Ski Meister this year. In general, I mean, it was nice to be back from COVID and have a normal season again, go to normal races again, and have that Ski Meister Championships. It was, I don't know, I guess it's hard to choose one memory because every race was fun. I felt like every race I came to the finish line absolutely exhausted. I had done everything I possibly could, and that's really rewarding for me. And there's also, you know, the struggles that come with sport that you have to work through, and those are also rewarding in a way because it provides development as an athlete. And yeah, just getting to be out on the snow in the mornings, getting to skip school, all of that was really awesome. Yeah, the Ski Meister Championships itself was a really long day, but it was really fun because I got to compete with some amazing athletes that put up a really good fight. And so for me, that was awesome.
You mentioned that you wish that there were more people from NED in general that would sign up for the Skimeister Championships. What would you say to people who like skiing, people who are doing Alpine, doing Nordic, doing both, to maybe convince them to sign up for the Skimeister Championships?
Well, I would say, we have a pretty big Alpine team. So to the kids on the Alpine team that have been racing for a couple of years, or maybe they came from club and they're quitting club and now they have all this free time, Nordic to pick up. You're going to get fit and you're going to get strong and you're going to see a lot of improvement throughout the season. It's fun to compete in both. I definitely think that Skimeister is great if you're someone that is very driven and very competitive. And I think that not just NED kids, we need more Boulder kids too, but really anyone that has fun with skiing and maybe needs to try a new sport or wants to try a new sport, it's a great option. And I actually started Nordic skiing as cross training for a different sport, so that can also be incentive to try it out, right? But I don't know what I would say. I would just say that it's really fun and that some kids should give it a try because it's like a challenge that you're going to feel accomplished no matter what, and you're going to learn a lot from the experiences that you have competing in Skimeister. So,
am I correct in remembering that you are a team captain as well?
Yes, I'm team captain of the Alpine team.
How did that go this year?
Really well. I love my co-captains. I love working with them. There's 4 of us, right? Because it's a pretty big team. And I think that all of us are good for the position. And I think that overall, it didn't really feel, because I've been captain of other teams where it felt like there was a lot of work that had to go into the team. But I don't know, it didn't feel that way this year. It really just felt like I was a part of something special. I was a part of a really cool team. And it's cool to be, I guess, a leader for younger people coming into the sport that have maybe had similar experiences as me, or maybe not. But it just feels good to maybe provide some inspiration, some leadership, and I guess show the definition of team and sportsmanship. So,
is there anything else in general about Alpine or Nordic or the Skimeisters or anything along those lines that you'd like to add?
I don't think so. I think I said it all. We're an awesome team, some amazing athletes. We've seen incredible improvement under the coaches that we've had this year and other years. We have some new Nordic coaches this year that I just love. I think that they're really bringing back that passion and really defining what drive means in the sport. And I think that that's awesome. And I think that the kids that we have on the team are amazing athletes. I do think that we need more kids from Netherlands, from Boulder. We need the Netherlands Nordic team to grow more. I think one thing we've struggled with is that we are a smaller team, and so it's kind of harder to get our name out there. But yeah, if you're a kid from the Boulder area and you want to come up in the mornings, that'd be awesome. And if you're a kid from NED, you have some classmates that you can talk to and they can tell you about how awesome it is. So.
All right. Well, I think those are all the big questions that I have on my end. Thank you so much for coming on board and joining us for the podcast.
Yeah, of course.
Next, I will be interviewing Towns Bakke, who earned 8th place in the men's division for his efforts in Alpine and Nordic.
I'm Towns Bakke. I'm a senior at Netherlands Middle Senior High School, and I am a Skimeister competitor, so essentially Nordic skiing and Alpine ski racing.
How did the Skimeister Championships go, do you think?
It went very well. The GS run was set very nicely. They set it almost like a downhill in a sense, especially coming over the pitch, which made a lot of fun there. Coming over the slalom, I had some good runs there. I took 2nd place overall, but then I had a large crash, which definitely depleted my points across the day, but it was still a lot of fun in terms of the Alpine Hill. In terms of Nordic, the 3K skate went very nice, and the 3K Classic was very good. I was able to pull off 6th place in the 3K Classic. 3K skate was a little bit more rough, though. I did have a small crash, so overall the day was fairly good, but not as fortunate as it could have been.
What was it like leading up to Skimeister? How did you sign up? How did you get involved in Skimeister? All that sort of stuff.
Well, I've always been Alpine ski racing since I was around 9-ish in about 4th grade. So Alpine's always been something I've been doing, so I continued to do Alpine in high school. A lot of my friends are big Nordic skiers, especially a lot of my classmates, so they convinced me to join. And I just thought it would be good cross-training and just good sports to do at once in the season, so I decided to sign up for high school Nordic, and so thus I joined Skimeister. I think I've really honed my skills in Nordic this year a lot. My Alpine has continued to improve a lot as well. And they sort of just improve each other's abilities, I feel like, in technique. And it's really helped me to evolve as a skier in a whole. And so I think it's been a very rewarding experience doing Ski Meister.
What were some of your favorite parts about Ski Meister and possibly some of your favorite parts about Nordic and Alpine as a whole?
I think just competing and meeting a lot of new people. For example, the Alpine team consists of people all around BVSD. It's not just exclusively Ned, so you get to meet a lot of new people, and just the new level of competition just makes things a lot more exciting. Getting into that sort of mindset for competing in Nordic, where I used to just do it for fun, is a nice shift and has just encouraged my skiing even more, and just learning people from both the Alpine community and the Nordic community and sort of integrating that in my daily life.
Is there anything that you might say to encourage other people to join Alpine and Nordic and the Ski Meister in general?
Well, if you're big into winter sports or even just watching the Olympics, I would suggest giving it a try. Alpine and Nordic are both a ton of fun. So the high school Alpine team, it doesn't matter what skill level you are. Same with Nordic, you can join at any level. No one cares. There's no tryouts or anything. You can join whenever, no matter what ability, no matter what age, as long as you're in high school, of course. But we're here to help you and help you improve. So it's really just a great way to get started in the sport. So I would suggest just signing up for Alpine and Nordic. I mean, Nordic especially is really hard work. It's really tiresome, but it's very rewarding. It gets you into shape. It sort of disciplines your mind as a person, as a whole, and just as your competition as an athlete. And I tend to find that, especially during morning practices, working out hard in the beginning of the day through cooler weather, it just sets you up for the rest of the day. And I think everyone's there to help you, so you shouldn't really be worried about signing up. And it's just a great experience overall. And I would suggest at least giving it a try.
If I heard correctly as well, you're also a team captain, is that right?
Yeah, I'm team captain of the Alpine team, one of the 4 team captains.
How did that go?
Very well. I did my best just to try to provide advice and just sort of some teachings for people. I think people enjoyed some of my advice, just helping out a lot, clipping people in, making sure everybody's ready up top, and just making sure everything organized, picking up afterwards, just making sure gates are taken down, everything's cleaned up, B-nets taken down. Essentially just making sure all the athletes are feeling okay, making sure that they're doing their best, organizing events and everything, and just making sure to clean up and organize all equipment. So it went very good. The other captains worked very hard, and this year went very smoothly.
What are some of your favorite parts about captaining?
I've been doing Alpine for quite a while, so I know quite a few things about technique and stuff, but teaching newer kids how to ski with more emphasis on technique and just their overall forms of skiing is always nice. Just sort of helping people get a helping hand. And obviously you learn some things from them too. You learn about them as a person. You learn about their ability to ski, and it helps you hone your own ability as well when you reflect on other people's forms of skiing. So it helps in the sense that I'm feeling rewarded because I get to help people learn to ski more, and they're helping me hone my own ability. So
yeah, I don't know. I think those are all the big questions I have. Is there anything else you want to add about Ski Meister or Nordic and Alpine or just anything else?
I think that covers it.
Thank you so much to Bella and Towns for coming on board and joining us for this podcast, and congratulations to the both of them for their incredible efforts in Alpine and Nordic this year. You guys killed it at the championships.
Thanks, Jamie. Very Nice Brewing Company has several featured community events in March, including craft beer and cribbage. Bring your cribbage board and cards on Wednesdays, ukulele class on Thursdays for beginners, and trivia night Sunday, March 13th. Check out their event information in this week's edition of the Mountain Ear.
For our final story today, we talked to Sarah Travers at Wild Bear about an upcoming series of fly tying workshops. Once again, you're up, Jamie.
Of Art Abramson, who has been our primary fly fishing instructor for our summer camp. We take our 10 to 12-year-olds out fly fishing 1 day a week, all through our 10-week summer camp. And he has these other skills that we haven't had the chance to utilize yet. And he keeps saying, let's do a fly tying workshop. Let's do it. And so finally, we've been able to get our ducks in a row enough. We've partnered with a very nice brewery to actually host us for it. So it's going to be a really cool event over there, and we'll bring our own devices and materials, and Art will lead us through how to tie different flies. for your collection.
So what inspired this particular event? How did it come together and what brought it to be?
Well, I think there's a huge fishing community, all around Colorado, but up in the mountains up here around Ned, and I think it's really cool for those fishermen as they grow as anglers to be able to start creating their own flies, to be able to read the hatches, know what they should be throwing and casting to catch fish seasonally, depending on what is out there and what the fish are eating. And so we're going to be going through a series of steps starting on the first week. It's 7 weeks long. And so the first week is more beginner nymphs, easier to tie. And then we're going to be progressing the skills as we go to build more complex flies and build out your collection of flies that you could use. And each week we'll be handing out information about the ties that will be flying, the history of anglers using them, as well as the life cycle of that critter and what you're going to be looking for when you know it's a good time to use that for fishing. So if you come to all 7, then you end up with this really cool little guidebook at the end that's going to tell you can take with you and have it out there and be like, oh yeah, these are all stonefly nymphs, so I'm going to throw my stonefly nymph because this is the hatch that's happening now. So it'll build the skills not only of being able to tie your own flies, but to know a little bit more about the ecology of the different insects that the fish are eating and to grow your skills as an angler and know when you should be using what bugs and whatnot.
So what inspired the collaboration between Very Nice and Wild Bear, and how long has it been going on?
It's actually fairly recent. We just went over there one day and approached Susan because we're trying to grow our adult and family programming. We think getting our name out there with a local brewery in that collaboration, people will see us in a different light. So basically we've been working really hard at growing our adult and family workshops, and we thought it'd be mutually beneficial that we both grow our community together by collaborating.
So how do you sign up for the workshop?
There's a registration link on our website, wildbear.org, under programs and events. We also have a calendar up there that says all of it, and you get a discount if you sign up for all 7 workshops. They are geared towards anybody at any level being able to come to any of the workshops.
What are you most excited for about being able to teach these workshops, and what are you most looking forward to seeing people get out of them?
Yeah, I really think fishermen in general, anglers, are such environmentalists, and helping newer anglers grow in that capacity so that they are experiencing nature and getting outside, exploring, and knowing a little bit about what they're looking at when they're out there, knowing how to interact with nature in a responsible way, leaving it better than we found it, and knowing a little bit about what's going on in the ecosystems around you and how, when going into those ecosystems, you're impacting that and making it intentional thing that you're bringing to the surface when you're out there fishing. So I think building a community of like-minded fly fishers who are owning their impact when we all go out and explore, leaving it better than we found it. And we are doing a fly fishing day. So we have 7 fly tying workshops, and then we're going to be going out on June 4th as a group, and we're going to go and test all of the flies that we've created over the 7 weeks of workshops.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else in general that you want to add about the workshop? Or
it's open to anyone, anybody 8 and up, but anybody under the age of 18 will need to be accompanied by a grown-up to be able to join us in the brewery there. It's going to be awesome. Art is super knowledgeable. He's a great teacher. He's got 50 years of fishing experience, and he has been tying his own flies for that long as well. And I'm really excited to learn a lot from him, and I think everybody else will too.
I think those are all the big questions that I have on my end.
Thank you so much to Sarah for coming on board and joining us for the podcast. If you want to attend one or more of these fly tying workshops, be sure to head to the Very Nice Brewing Company on 20 Lakeview Drive, number 112 in Nederland, every Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. starting March 31st, 2022, except for April 21st and May 12th. On March 31st, there will be an introduction to fly tying. On April 7th, there will be tying nymphs. On April 14th, there will be tying dry flies. On April 28th, there will be tying terrestrials. On May 5th, there will be tying streamers. On May 19th, there will be tying more patterns. And on May 26th, there will be tying it all together, getting ready for the big fishing day on June 4th. Tickets cost $30 per session or $175 for the entire series of 7 classes. For attending, you get 2 flies per session an instructional guidebook per session that you can then use to create a much larger guidebook if you attend all 7 sessions, and a free beverage from Very Nice. If you want to register for one or more of these fly tying sessions, please use the booking form online at www.wildbear.org/fly-tying-workshops.
Thanks again, Jamie.
And let's check back to the news desk one more time.
Did you know Hardt's Backhoe Service is your locally owned and operated excavating company working in the Peak-to-Peak region? They can take care of all your excavating needs, including septic installation, digging your new foundation, rock walls, construction demolition, and so much more. Now scheduling summer and fall projects. You can reach them at 303-589-9354.
Pick up this week's edition of the Mountaineer in print in multiple locations across the Peak-to-Peak, including Western Boulder County, Gilpin County, and Jefferson County. And that's all for this week's episode of the Mountaineer Podcast. All editions of the Mountaineer Podcast, print newspaper, and the latest news are always available on our website at www.themountaineer.com.
Thanks, everyone, for a great podcast. I'm Doug Armitage.
And I'm Barbara Hardt. Until next time, thanks for listening.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak-to-Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.